When you have problems, you feel like you are the only one having problems. We get trapped in a small room in which we see everything dark and we don't see the light anymore. We start to get frustrated, and it's like a snowball. It starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger until our problems collapse us. The good news is you are not alone. You are not the only one that has problems. And I'm going to explain here to you why do you have problems, what's really happening, and how you can really start to solve your problems. First of all, let me give you a little bit of this explanation. Your problems only exist in your mind. And I know this sounds cliche, and perhaps you already heard this, and everyone talks about that problems only exist in your mind. But here's how it works. We usually first think something, and then our brain creates that and makes that a reality. So if you are having a problem right now, it's because you thought that before and your brain just obeyed the order. Now, usually when you have a problem, you've been having that problem for a long time. Problems repeat itself. They continue to appear in our lives. And the goal here, we all have problems in life. That's part of life, I have problems, even though I'm recording this video, and perhaps you see me like, I don't know, someone who can give you an advice. I have problems too. I don't know one human being who doesn't have problems. It's part of life. What you need to understand here is we are here in this world to become better versions of ourselves, to improve and to grow as a person. What are the areas that you need to work on? Well, those are the problems that you have. Some people have emotional problems, love problems, marriage problems, problems of self-esteem, insecurity, money problems. Everyone has a different kind of problem, but everyone has problems. Now, those are the things that you need to work on in your life. If you do not solve a problem, if you just ignore a problem, it will continue to repeat itself your whole life until you solve it. And usually problems are accompanied by a negative emotion. Those negative emotions start to, add inside ourselves, and they start to grow and grow until they become a life-end sickness. For example, cancer. Cancers are not because poor person, he has cancer. That person ignored problems he had all his life, and the cancer is just the cumulus of years of problems and negative emotions that he ignored, and it's a time bomb. It exploded. So if you don't solve your problem today, it's going to stay inside yourself, and it's going to explode one day. And the name of the explosion is cancer, diabetes, or some terminal disease. Now, usually problems come from the word lack. Lack, we don't have enough. Lack of a positive emotion. If you have money problems, money is security. We need to feel safe. So we need money to feel that we have everything. If you lack money, you lack security. And if you lack security, you probably lack love. You probably had a negative experience of love in your past, in your childhood, from your parents, your loved ones, whatever. If you have, for example, love problems, if you had 3-4 divorces, you probably have a problem with your self-esteem first. You cannot love someone if you don't love yourself first. I'm going to draw a circle here. Now, let's say this is your problem. You name it. Lack of money, lack of love, job, whatever. So you put here the name of your problem. Now, problems are a cycle. They started at a certain point or in a certain period of your life. Let's say you started having these kind of problems a few years ago when your partner broke up with you, when you got fired, whatever. So they start, and I'm going to put it in a different color. They started here, but you ignore the problem or you did not solve it correctly. So then you had a similar experience and you say, okay, it's the same kind of problem, so it adds up to the problem. And then we are trapped, because we are inside this cycle, we are trapped in a vicious cycle of problems. Let's say this glass is your life. And let's say the water are your problems. If I'm looking at your life right now and you ask me my opinion, you are drowning in a small glass with little water. Your problems are little. They are only big inside your head. They do not exist in the outside world. They only exist inside the glass, inside your life. Now, how can you break them? Well, you need to understand the pattern. They follow a pattern, and you need to understand the root of the problem. You cannot solve a problem just by ignoring it, by pretending everything is okay. If you are afraid of love and you are dating one girl every night and you say everything's okay, that will not solve the problem. Cover the problem with a shiny object or with a false pretense. It's not going to solve it. You need to go to the root of the problem. And they all start with you. You are the root of the problem. Now, what are you afraid of? You need to figure that out. Are you afraid of being rejected? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid of not being loved? Are you afraid of death? What are you afraid of? Now, how do you solve that problem? You can grab a piece of paper and you draw your problem. And you draw and you write down all of the things you are afraid of. And what we are going to do is we are going to take out of our head the idea or the problem, and we are going to put it in this piece of paper. And then we are going to zoom in the movie, like see each letter of the problem, each particle of the problem, and we are going to see why it all started. And you are going to realize that it's nonsense, that at the end it's an imagination, that we are just drowning in a glass of water, that those problems only exist in our head, and they all start with what if, with suppositions, with assumptions. What if? What if is an illusion, is something that has not happened yet, and it's a conclusion that is justifying our fear because we don't want to feel bad about ourselves. What if I get dumped? What if I get rejected? What if I lose money? What if I do not get the job? So we are making a conclusion to cover our fear because we don't want to feel bad about ourselves, because we know that that you need to solve this fear and that you are just covering with something. So how do you start solving your fears? Analyze really what are you afraid of. Like really go deep. Analyze all of the times you've been having that fear, because fears repeat themselves. Now, right here, what will happen? Instead of what if, you will say what will happen. Are you afraid of losing money? You are afraid of creating a business because you are afraid that you will lose money. Okay, what will happen if I lose $1,000 that's the amount of the investment I need to start a job. Will I die? No. Will I run out of money? No. Do I have more money? Yes. What will happen if I get fired? Is this the only job that I could get? No. Can I get a new job? Yes. Do I really like my current job? No. So what will happen if I get fired? They will do me a favor because I hate my job. I had the chance and the opportunity now to do something that I love, to go after a dream. So nothing will happen. What will happen if they take me out of my house? I can go to live with my parents, but that is a dishonor. I don't care. What will happen if my girlfriend or boyfriend dump me? Will I die? No. Okay, so change the what if that are the statements that cover our fears for the what will happen. And start to see that you are only afraid because you are creating a movie, a mind movie inside your head of events that haven't happened yet, making conclusions that haven't happened yet. It's like, for example, I'm sending a message to my boyfriend right now, and I'm afraid that he's going to dump me. And today is 9 a.m. in the morning, and I'm sending him, hey, answer me, please call me back. I want to ask you something. It all started very normal. And time goes, and now it's 10 a.m., 11 a.m., the clock is ticking, and he hasn't responded. And I'm afraid that he's going to dump me. That's my fear. And now I'm making suppositions and assumptions inside my head. Hey, he's with another girl. Hey, he saw my message, he doesn't want to answer me. Hey, he hates me. Hey, I told him something negative in the night. Perhaps he doesn't want to hear to me anymore. And your poor boyfriend is in a meeting with his boss right now, and he cannot answer his phone, and you are creating a mind movie, an imaginary movie that hasn't happened and that is not happening yet. And so you are reacting negatively to your boyfriend, and he's in a meeting with his boss. That's how fears are formed. They are formed because of suppositions and assumptions of what if. Write down all of the what ifs that are happening in your mind right now and change them for what will happen. And you will start to see that fears only occur and happen inside your mind. And finally, you will see that your fear is very small. It's a tiny drop of water inside a glass of water, and you are drowning. And you are drowning, you can just stand up and the water will be below your knees. You are drowning with this little water. So I encourage you to end and finish these vicious cycles of problems. I encourage you to do not let them paralyze you and control you to the extent that you allow them to. You give them the amount of power that you want, and they do not deserve to have power. Let's give power to positive things. That's how you start to break these problems. Now start with baby steps. Start by being conscious about the current problem. Start by doing this exercise, and they will start to lose problem. Okay? Remember that whatever you think of, you are giving power to, because you are giving energy to. If you are constantly thinking about your problems, you are giving them too much energy, so you are giving them too much power. The first thing that you need to do is stop thinking about your problems. Do not give them that amount of time and energy because they do not deserve them. And start thinking about the solutions and the things that you can do instead. Thank you for watching this video, and I see you in the next one.